brothers, we know we got over by the blood, the sweat, and the tears of sheroes and heroes, some whose names we know and some whose names we do not know. But I'm going to tell you something, we have been here before. Now the only difference is we got some company, Rev. We got our gay lesbian sisters and brothers with us this time. We got our Hispanic, Asian, Native American sisters and brothers with us this time. I think Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King said we may not have gotten here on the same ship, but we are in the same boat right now.
In Father Teresa's wine cellar, we believe all oppression is intersectional. And this means our analysis of current events frequently includes discussion of difficult and explicit content. Any combination of the following topics could be included in our show: murder, rape, war, climate change, racism, sexism, violence, sexual violence, homophobic violence, heterocentrism, discrimination and abuse against individuals of nonconformist sexuality, domestic violence, child abuse, child rape, child neglect, elderly abuse, verbal abuse, police brutality, microaggressions, ableism, cyberbullying, genital mutilation, ideological extremism, and people just being total fucking assholes.
The Idaho State House voted 51-14 to pass SB 1309, an abortion ban modeled after Texas SB 8. Following the Senate's passage earlier this month, the bill will ban nearly all abortions after approximately 6 weeks of pregnancy and allow family members such as the father or grandparents of the fetus to sue any abortion providers who violate the ban. So, as it tends to go, with the primary progenitors of Western culture in the modern day that we call the fascist Republican Party, if you are a rapist or you are the family member of a rapist, this is excellent news for you, as you can force the rape victim to carry the rape seed to term, so that the rape victim will now have to spend the next 18 years of their life staring into the DNA of their rapist and literally taking care of, providing for the DNA of their rapist. Every single night, they will have to kiss the DNA of a rapist to sleep and read it a bedtime story. For their entire life, they will now have to be forever biologically connected to their rapist. If you are a rapist or the family member of a rapist, also, good news for you, the bill will provide at least $20,000 to anyone who sues successfully. You can sue the rape victim for getting an abortion. The ban won't just deny folks from Idaho their constitutional right to abortion care, but also effectively eliminate care entirely for many residents who are financially unable to travel out of state to get an abortion. This will disproportionately affect the state's Black, Latino, Indigenous communities. And disingenuous fascists like Tim Pool will pretend that they're concerned with black life and that they want black babies born. But keep in mind, stay on Tim Pool's page, click another video on Tim Pool's page, and he will be complaining that black people exist, but at the same time would love to force a black rape victim to have to carry the rape seed to term. This is just what fascists like. They're into that. Now, we have a quote from Jennifer M. Allen saying, quote, "Physicians and medical providers around the world live by a simple principle, first do no harm," end quote. This was from a press release issued from the Planned Parenthood Action Fund. She is the CEO of the Planned Parenthood Alliance Advocates. Quote, Sadly, Idaho politicians have not taken a similar oath and are determined to ban abortion, no matter the harm it would inflict on their constituents. SB 1309 is a travesty grounded in bad motives, questionable legality, and no science at all. Governor Little must do the right thing, listen to the medical community, and veto this legislation before it forces Idaho patients to leave the state for critical time-sensitive care or remain pregnant against their will, which is the idea of the bill. The bill now goes to the governor's desk, where he has 10 days to sign, allow the bill to become law, or veto, which the legislature would be expected to immediately override once the bill becomes law. The emergency clause would take effect in 30 days. The Idaho Republican Caucus issued a statement of approval for the bill. Quote, "Although life begins at conception, a detectable heartbeat is a key indicator of the existence of life," end quote, from Republican fascist bad faith actor Stephen Harris of Meridian. Quote, "This bill makes sure that the people of Idaho can stand up for our values and do everything in our power to prevent the wanton destruction of innocent life," end quote, from a bad faith actor who doesn't actually care about life. The Idaho State. Now, Idaho is right next to Washington State, and so the governor of Washington State decided to take a political move in response to the Idaho fascist abortion ban.
So one thing Governor Inslee made very clear, this will protect medical professionals who provide abortions from getting prosecuted for what they do, even encouraging women in Idaho to cross state lines if they need such services.
To the citizens of Idaho, if Idaho will not stand up for your constitutional rights.
Bill Thursday that expands abortion access in Washington. The law prohibits legal retaliation against women undergoing abortions, the healthcare workers who provide them, or anyone helping women get one.
We know this bill is necessary because this is a perilous time for the ability of people to have the freedom of choice that they've enjoyed for decades in the state of Washington.
Inslee pointed to a Texas law that bans abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy, and the Idaho law passed by its legislature this week would also ban abortions after 6 weeks and let certain family members of women who get an abortion sue their provider.
These bills do nothing to improve patient health or safety.
Erin Berry is an OBGYN at the Washington Medical Director at Planned Parenthood.
The fact is, abortion is critical and time-sensitive health care.
Others, like Marissa Green, a nurse practitioner for Cedar River Clinics, see many women who need protected abortion services.
It may be a teen who just wants to finish school, a family who cannot afford another child, or any person for any reason. Everyone needs easy access to abortions.
So we kind of wrap it up like a little present.
Pro-life services, such as Next Step Pregnancy in Linwood, are aware of the new law. Heather Vasquez is the executive director.
It doesn't really have much to do with what we do. I mean, our main mission and goal is to serve women in whatever capacity that we're able to.
They provide free prenatal care for women facing unplanned pregnancies.
Just ultrasounds, pregnancy tests, and then maternity and baby supplies.
New abortion laws or not, she says her goal is to let women know there are options beyond abortion.
So again, the Idaho abortion law has yet to be signed by the governor. Washington's abortion access law goes into effect in June.
And there is more to this law. What else does it explain?
And so they actually made a mistake here. They should have called that a pregnancy crisis center, where they trick you into not getting an abortion to get you over over the amount of weeks to make it illegal. They're actually just trying to trick you into having offspring.
Expand. Yeah, so there's a couple of things to talk about here. It makes abortion services more inclusive by referring to non-binary people as pregnant individuals. Also authorizes physician assistants and advanced nurse practitioners to also perform abortions.
It's Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022.
The vegetation's gone. It looks like some kind of lunar landscape. It's just an amazing amount of devastation.
Texas wildfires continue to spread across the state. Supreme Court confirmation hearings begin at fraught moment for climate action. Plus,
temperatures there have been a whopping 70 degrees above normal.
Both Antarctica and the Arctic see unprecedented simultaneous extreme heat waves.
All of those extremes and more straight ahead. From BradBlog.com, I'm Brad Friedman.
And I'm Desi Doyen.
Stand by for 6 minutes of independent green news, politics, analysis, and snarky comment.
The coldest place on planet Earth underwent an extreme heat wave, and that was nothing like we've ever recorded before.
Maybe, but I bet you'll be recording it again. This is your Green News Report.
I'm gonna soak up the sun.
Okay, Desi Doyen, bad news for you and your old home state, I'm afraid.
Yes, extreme swings in weather in Texas contributed to 7 wind-driven wildfires burning in the central part of the state, known collectively as the Eastland Complex Fire. Those fires have incinerated more than 50,000 acres of land since late last week, destroyed at least 50 homes, and killed a deputy who was trying to help residents escape. Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott has declared a disaster in 11 counties. Fire officials are pleading with residents to use extreme fire caution because the region is experiencing fire weather, exceptionally low humidity, heat, drought, and high winds.
One message that I would like to exaggerate and express is that we are not out of danger yet. So we just ask that the community take real sincere caution in your outdoor activities and just help us help you by being safe and cautious.
You know, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has had to declare a lot of emergencies for climate-related disasters of late. Any reason to believe that he's starting to get it?
No, none whatsoever. He's running for re-election.
In Texas.
The State Forest Service says just over the last week, nearly 180 fires have burned more than 100,000 acres across the state. Scientists say extreme rains led to lush growth of vegetation that was followed by extreme drought and unseasonably warm temperatures, making the new fuel super combustible.
I'm sure it was just a fluke. Nothing to worry about, Governor Abbott.
Climate change intensified wildfires are also linked to accelerating warming in the Arctic. A new study confirms that dense plumes of wildfire smoke are drifting to the Arctic, where the tiny particles called brown carbon absorb sunlight and turn it into heat, both in the air and on the ice, where it intensifies melting. The researchers warn that brown carbon from wildfires is a significant but undercounted factor that may help explain why the Arctic is warming 3 times faster than the rest of the planet. Extreme swings hit both of the planet's poles with unprecedented simultaneous extreme heat waves, described as, quote, unthinkable by scientists. At the South Pole, temperatures over the eastern Antarctic ice sheet shattered records over the weekend, soaring 70 degrees Fahrenheit above normal, unlike any ever before observed.
Man.
The Washington Post reports scientists are shocked, saying, quote, the event is completely unprecedented and upended our expectations.
Oh, I'm sure it's just a freak. It'll never happen again.
At the same time, at the North Pole, the Arctic hit 50 degrees above normal.
I'm sure totally a freak. Never will happen again, right?
Meanwhile, in Russia's horrific war on Ukraine, the Russian Air Force has utterly destroyed a steel and ironworks factory, one of the largest in Europe, in the besieged city of Mariupol. Officials say workers tried very hard to mitigate environmental impacts before the site was destroyed, and they say it will take years to rebuild. But a member of the Ukrainian parliament, Lesia Vasylenko, focused on building back better, saying on Twitter, quote, in 2021, that steel plant was a top polluter in Ukraine. Destruction brings creation, as the plant will be rebuilt using green technology.
Well, nice. I like that.
Finally, Monday marked the first day of Senate confirmation hearings for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, President Biden's nominee to fill the seat of retiring U.S. Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer. The confirmation hearings come just a few weeks after the Supreme Court heard oral arguments in the biggest climate change case in a decade. Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein of California underscored why Supreme Court appointments matter.
In the current term alone, the Supreme Court is addressing cases on issues that are foundational to who we are as a country. It is considering the legal authority of the Environmental Protection Agency to fight climate change.
If confirmed, Judge Jackson would not get to rule on that case. But it's another example of how elections have consequences.
They do indeed. For much more on all of those stories and the ones we couldn't get to today, check out our website at greennews.bradblog.com. Find, follow, and share us planet-wide on the Facebooks and the Twitters at Green News Report. I'm Brad Friedman.
And I'm Desi Doyen.
And this has been your Green News Report.
Am I getting warmer?
And so let's check out Tim Pool and the crew acting in bad faith with regard to Idaho abortion rights. Again, and folks, dead serious, this is why I can't be a debater, because everything they say, I'm just gonna be like, that's fucking stupid bullshit that you don't actually think. When I see these folks, all I can think is, and that goes for folks that agree with me on shit too, we're all entertainers, and I don't know why the fuck I seem to be the only one that can just say that out loud. We're entertaining. We're putting on shows. These niggas pretend to be activists. They pretend to be ideologically sound and consistent debaters. They're not. Just listen to the shit these people say. Imagine sitting across and pretending you're gonna fucking debate. That's why who's that little nigga? The little California nigga with the fucked up haircut? Vashi. That nigga's, he'll come kick it with these niggas, because he's just as bad faith as they are.
Let's segue over to this next story, which may be a contributing factor in an upcoming civil war here in these United States.
Not how swift he slipped that. A contributing factor to an upcoming civil war. They're very flippant about violence. Notice, because this is that now, how flippant he was about violence, civil war. But then they're gonna pretend to be pro-life. Civil war to be pro-life. This is the shit these people say.
Timcast.com, Idaho passes bill banning abortions after 6 weeks. Idaho Senate Bill 1309 is modeled after similar Texas legislation passed last year. The bill now goes to Governor Brad Little to be signed into law. Little has supported similar abortion bans, but has not yet offered public comment on this bill. The abortion bill does include exceptions for circumstances such as rape, incest, and medical emergencies.
And so he's cold reading the article.
The current abortion laws in Idaho authorize abortions until the fetus is viable outside the womb, typically around 24 weeks. If the governor signs the bill, the new Idaho abortion ban could take effect as early as April. So we're seeing similar laws, they mention over at Timcast, in Mississippi, there's Texas, and they say at least 12 states have introduced bills modeled after the Texas abortion ban. The Texas Law Senate Bill 8 empowers private citizens to sue anyone who helps facilitate an abortion after the legal limit. This is a big story because 6 weeks, I think, is, in terms of what we've seen across the country, the shortest amount of time so far, I believe, right? Because 11 weeks was Mississippi and they got sued over that. Now it's 6 weeks. A lot of people, even people on the left, believe that Roe v. Wade will be overturned come, June? So this is just another,
And again, when they say the left, they're lumping in, me, these Twitch niggas, or Bread2, whoever the fuck them niggas is, and Sam Cedar, but then also Rachel Maddow and Joe Biden and John Kerry. We are all the same to them. Anything left of white supremacist fascist is all a blob to them. They say aim your guns at all of it, to be pro-life, of course.
Shot across the bow. Maybe that's not even the right way to put it. I mean, this is another law. Leftists, abortion activists are going to go after this, absolutely, but it may be meaningless if, come June, they issue a ruling overturning Roe v. Wade.
Well, and of course, they will not be able to stand the fact that unborn children are not being murdered in your state, even if that continues to be legal in their state.
Well, I think there's
again, and here it goes, right? Because now these are, I'm guessing by age group, these niggas are millennials. These look and sound like relatively young white people. So now they're younger than me. Same talking points, right? Murdering unborn children. They don't give a fuck about any children anywhere. They don't give a fuck about them Sandy Hook kids that got shot down. They don't give a fuck about Tamir Rice getting shot down. They don't give a fuck about no-knock raids and grenades getting thrown in babies' cribs. They don't give a fuck. Because apparently you have to keep telling young people this shit because adults won't. Where are the leftist adults failing to raise your children to where they fall for stupid shit like this? Same stupid ass shit.
sort of a defensive mechanism here, as far as I think one of the big issues in our country is when people move from California or New York to Texas. Because of Texas's success, it actually leads to failure. And so by doing something like this, it's actually not even about abortion. What it's saying is those people in Seattle and Washington State and Oregon, right over the state line, I believe, of Idaho, who are moving into Idaho, it's saying stay out. And it's necessary to do that because otherwise Idaho will become Portland in however many decades.
Well, this is fucking stupid. Idaho would never be that. See, again, these niggas is younger than me. I remember Idaho being a fucking hub of right-wing fascism in the fucking mid-90s, the early 90s. That shit ain't new. How many times I gotta say Brian Fisher's from Idaho? What the fuck do you think when you get Protestants and potatoes? You get stupid shit. All right? That's all the fuck you got. These little niggas is full of shit.
But I hear what you're saying, but think about the implication.
Success, it actually leads to failure. And so by doing something...
Okay, there's also that other side of shit. Like, people are just moving because of failure. How many times do you have to say it out loud? California, 5th largest economy on the fucking planet. California, in and of itself, not the people, is rich. All right? People are moving to Texas because they are ideologically right-wing and they just don't want to be in California. That's all that is. They're leaving Washington State, and keep in mind, it's not that they're leaving Washington State, they're leaving the western lowlands, all right? That specific area around Puget Sound. They're leaving the western... on the deuce. Why are they...
Think about the implication.
Success, it actually leads to failure. And so by doing something...
Okay, there's also that other state, and keep in mind, it's not that they're leaving Washington State, they're leaving the western lowlands, all right? That specific area around Puget Sound. They're leaving the western lowlands because they're ideologically right-wing and they don't want to be there. They're going somewhere that they understand to be ideologically red, so they want to be around like-minded folks. That's why they're going. Add on the deuce. Why are they going? Not just because they want to. You have to be able to afford to, kids. You gotta have the money. What the fuck is wrong with these niggas? They just, but you know what? It's a grift. It's a hustle. They know they can sit in front of these mics and rake in the big bucks by saying the dumb shit.
Like this, it's actually not even about abortion. What it's saying is those people in Seattle and Washington State and Oregon, right over the state line, I believe, of Idaho, who are moving into Idaho, it's saying stay out. And it's necessary to do that because otherwise Idaho will become Portland in however many decades.
Well, very interesting. But I hear what you're saying, but think about the implication there. Do you believe that there are women who are scared that if they go to Idaho, they won't be able to get abortions? Like, it's just kind of a crazy thought to me that there's a woman who's like, but what if I get pregnant and I can't terminate the pregnancy in this state? You know what I mean?
So you're suggesting if a woman wanted an abortion and she was an Idaho resident, she would just cross the state line to get it?
Well, not necessarily. What I mean is, like, the implication is effectively if it...
How the fuck did he not understand that stupid, simple-ass question? This is what I'm talking about, folks. You realize, like, it's almost like a plus that Tim Pool is so inarticulate that his question should have been very easy to understand, but this grimace-looking nigga over here just couldn't fucking catch up to it.
This is true, that this bill is a warning to these people. The only reason they'd be scared is because they plan on having an abortion.
No, because they're obsessed with virtue signaling. I mean, look at all the boycotts they do of Florida and Texas for all kinds of bills that really won't affect almost anyone. It's just a symbolic gesture that this isn't, you're not going to fit in there.
Now, virtue signaling, and he said, like, okay. Now, if it is a bill that someone passes, that's not virtue signaling, That's politics. That's policy, dipshit. What you do is virtue signaling, nigga. What the fuck? Governors and state legislators and mayors and city councils do politics. Citizens do virtue signaling. This is the stupid shit we're talking about with these people. Now, right, like, and then, like, say, like, the athletes or the performers. The performance artist is like, oh, and then also, rich people do politics, because who runs the political game? The rich, which I'm pretty sure is what you right-wing niggas want, right? Okay, so if the fucking multi-millionaire performance artist is like, oh, Georgia passed that bill? Alright, well, check it out, niggas. If they don't reverse that shit, guess what? I'm not performing down there anymore. And now people that are right and left and so-called center are fucking gonna be like, you know what? Maybe I'd like it to reverse that bill. I don't really want that bill anyway, especially if you're to the left. Fuck that bill. If you're to the right, oh, you didn't really care that much any damn way. Get rid of that bill, because I want to see this performance artist in this state. Or I want to see this particular football event or baseball event or whatever the sport is in this particular state. Nigga, get the fuck out of here.
It's amazing how they lie too. Like, I can't get over the Florida parental rights bill, which they keep lying about
Constantly.
Yeah.
Well, and with this, I'm not sure why they decided to do it. I want to just ascribe to...
I don't have a comment on the Florida parental rights bill because I have not read that bill, right? So you notice how I don't know the bill, I don't know the news and politics around the bill, so I don't fucking comment on it. Not with these niggas.
Best possible motivation to them and say they're really trying to save unborn children, and really God bless them for doing this. But I do think it could have this very interesting side effect you bring up if you were left-wing people being willing to move to these states. But that said, on the other hand, you're mentioning virtue signaling here, and an important part of that concept is it's completely hollow and meaningless. So I think there could be reason to believe that these left-wingers still might end up moving to these places just because all they know how to do is engage in hollow symbolic virtue signaling, and their actions never map onto this.
Yeah, so
if you don't understand exactly what this dipshit here is suggesting, I don't need to know his name. He's another dipshit. He really doesn't matter. You can replace him with anything and they'll all say the same words. So his idea is that people that are ideologically left are gonna move to Idaho as like a virtue signal against the ban. Why? You understand that, like, that would mean completely upending their entire lives to go live around you psycho fucks. There is absolutely no motivation to do that. You silly prick. But then what do you see, right? Rogan moving somewhere to be closer to more right-wing folks. Ben Shapiro moving somewhere to be closer to right-wing folks. They project. Imagine, like, you're ideologically left-wing and you're raising children and you like where you live. You're paying your mortgage. You're at work. You're busy. You're gonna just not work at your job anymore and get rid of your house and go raise your kids around these right-wing psycho fucks? Pick up and move to another state? Rent a U-Haul truck? Drive to another fucking state? Literally pack up all your shit? Buy to all your friends and family you live around? I want to go live around Trump supporters. What? They say this shit out loud on purpose. Hold up, let me get the whoop whop. I clicked the wrong thing.
Things they say they want.
So, I deal with this when we've been looking at property in West Virginia, more so in the past year, but now that we have the new property, it hasn't really come up. But one of the issues is we hear a lot from locals that there will be maybe a pig farm or a shooting range. And then these DC people who are trying to escape the cities over COVID and other problems that they create move out here. When they go to buy the property, they're told, now you have to sign these documents saying you acknowledge there's a shooting range and a pig farm nearby, and it's going to stink and be loud. And they go, oh yeah, of course. But what happens?
Now, notice that these niggas is wild with the propaganda style. I'll say, he is skilled in delivering his propaganda, but if you're not stupid, it's too fucking stupid to fall for. Because he presented a hypothetical of a person that would be leaving a city because of problems that they caused in their own city, which it's not even a dog whistle anymore. We get it. We get what you're gunning for, buddy. You hate niggers. Or at least, you know your audience hates niggers, so you say the words to them that will make them stay tuned into you. We get that part. But then he proceeds to deliver on this hypothetical person as if they are now real. And now in his stupid ass audience's head, there's actually niggers from DC moving to Virginia, West Virginia, and signing paperwork that there's gonna be pig farms and gunshots.
Then when 10 more people move in all around the pig farm and shooting range, now there's more of them than you, and they say, okay, we did agree to that, but now we're gonna have a vote. Oh, look at that, we've all voted to get rid of your property, and now you're gone. Yep. So
this is what he's fear-mongering to his audience, that a bunch of niggers and, I don't know, cucked white liberals are gonna fucking move near you so that they can politically overwhelm you so that a majority rule vote will take your rights. Now, why do you think these people want to clutch onto their electoral college? Why do they not want you to be able to vote at all? They like their, and when I say minority rule, I'm talking numbers, all right? Not like who's represented, right? Because quite frankly, the people of whom are classified as white are the global minority, all right? But when he's saying, so when we're talking minority, we're talking numbers. They want minority rule by ideology because they know that there are coon niggers that do agree with them or will at least lick their boots to not get shot.
that's one of the things we see. So I'm not entirely convinced the leftists will be like, oh no, we better stay up. They're gonna move in and go, wait, I can't do what? And then eventually enough move in and they say, vote, and get rid of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. So that's the thing. So keep in mind, if you know someone who is a Tim Pool fan, that is a person who's walking around believing that leftist niggers and fucking race trading white liberals are gonna move from the city to your fucking shit town just so they can vote your rights away. This is fucking stupid.
I get what you're saying, though, about it. It's sort of a prelude to a civil war, some sort of national separation. Is the 50 states...
and then back to the preempt, like the beginning of the whole video, civil war. Remember, though, they're pro-life, very flippant about the idea of civil war.
Just increasingly...
yeah, let fucking Private Pile talk. Jesus fucking Christ. Is this guy fucking serious? You look like 150 pounds of chewed gut bubble gum, Private Pile. Get the fuck down off of my obstacle.
Is the 50 states just increasingly states going far left and far right, and so there's a differentiation within the country, even if nominally we're still one.
States going far left and far right. Where the fuck is a far left state? Which one? California? Like, you realize the reason why California has a lot of homelessness, which, and I believe there is because I heard Triple OG Crip Tracy Davis say there was a lot of homelessness that he saw when he got out the penitentiary off of his 10-year bid, and he used the language vagabonds, and and so I know that's there. You know why that's there? Capitalism. You know what capitalism is? Extremely right-wing. Washington State. Somebody complained there's tents and homelessness? Probably also due to capitalism, which is extremely right-wing. What the fuck are you talking about? These niggas, I swear to... All right.
Because people are very mobile now, especially after coronavirus. A lot of people working from home. I think we're going to see people self-segregating politically.
Absolutely, yeah. So that was
and that's the cold shit, right? Like, and that's, you know what? I should sit across from these niggas because I actually am the ideology that they pretend that all of you are. I know there are people that regularly tune into the Wine Cellar disagree with me like a motherfucker. You have to. I expect you to. Because I'm pretty sure I go too far, right? But like Phoenix and I, we regularly talk about it would be fantastic to have ideological segregation, state by state. Frankly, we already have the Mason-Dixon line. Kick their ass down to the South, fuck them. And everybody down there ideologically left, bring your ass on up. Let's go. Ideological segregation like a motherfucker. Let them have it. Because if you don't, they're gonna keep forcing it on you state by motherfucking state. Supreme Court, by legislature, by president, by state senate, by city council, by school board. They will keep forcing their shit on you. ideological segregation is simply pragmatic. But no one that is actually on what you might call the left, or what you might call a liberal, or what you might call a progressive is actually in favor of that shit. They like being around you fucking weirdos. Sit me across from Tim Pool. I'll tell you to your motherfucking face we need a great replacement, boy. Now stand up and do something about it. Nigga, I'll beat Tim Pool's ass, nigga. That'd really be the only reason to get near him, is just really to fucking beat his ass and just have the emotional satisfaction of having done it.
The point I was bringing up initially is that I think abortion could be a great moral cause for the left or the right, which could be, on par with slavery. Of course, the left will probably scream at me for saying something like that, like what? Or maybe they'll agree.
No, they'll agree because they say it is literal slavery for a woman to not be able to murder her unborn child.
Right.
I've heard that argument.
Notice that they say they name no names, right? Like how I play you this video and be like, this nigga Tim Pool talking some stupid shit. I don't say they. They said this. Nah, nigga, who's they? Bring me on. I'll be they. Fuck yeah, nigga, fuck you. Stand up and do, niggas, catch a fade. I'd love to catch a fade with everybody at this table.
It's like the moral issue may be on par with that. Denying a woman her right, they could say, what did George Carlin call it? Being a broodmare for the state. If that's the left's perspective on, bearing a child when they decide not to, or they don't want to, then they probably would agree it's a great moral cause on par with slavery. But if that's the case, and you've got, there's literally no middle ground. There's zero middle ground. It's just, there's no, so how do you resolve something like that? If they overturn Roe v. Wade, I think you're going to see a bunch of states to start banning it. And then I wonder, will you see leftists setting up makeshift the underground abortion clinic railroad or things like that?
For sure.
Do you think so?
Oh, yeah. Abortion, since the dawn of humanity, has been part of our species. I can't imagine it ever stopping.
So I'm sure that some people will still attempt to have abortions, but I believe that it will be greatly decreasing in number in the places where it's illegal. But I think what Tim's asking is not necessarily will there be people who break this law, but are left-wingers going to try to set up an entire underground infrastructure to continue abortion?
To get a girl out of the state without people knowing.
Yeah, something like that.
And so they're saying, now, again, this is unrealistic. They don't actually believe, and again, I'll run a fade with everybody at this table. It's unrealistic. No one's pushing for this, and no one at this table even believes that's going to happen. They're feeding this stupid shit to the audience. This is for the audience to believe, which I doubt many of them even believe. This is just what they like to hear. Because right-wingers know they're extreme, and so they like to imagine that those who are opposed to them are their equal opposite, right? Because you wouldn't need to set up anything underground. You could set up a 501c3. Dead up, set up a 501c3. It does not need to be underground, right? Or even you could just have people doing the mutual aid as they can. It need not be underground. It need not be some sneaky shit. We don't need to sneak around you, nigga. Nobody needs to...